That's actually why people get married, you know, just so you know. Because this is built into marital vows. I'm not leaving. Ever, no matter what.
Anyway, yeah, in 2022, you think marriage is like this? I'm not leaving no matter what. Yeah, if the laws reflected that, I think we'd all be happy and okay. But that's not how that works. In the modern world, marriage is I'll be with you forever no matter what until I get bored, and then it's cash and prizes time.
It's like, okay, well, that definitely puts a boundary around our arguments, right? Because I can't say every time you manifest one of your flaws, which you're likely to do just as often as me, well, enough of this. It's like, that's horrible, man. If your whole life is, well, every time you get out of line, I'm out of here. It's like, how the hell are you? First of all, you're not going to admit to ever doing anything wrong. Second, you're going to be on your, you're like a scared cat the entire relationship, because, well, who knows, it could just come to an end at any moment. It's like, you know, people say, well, if the possibility of divorce is open, it makes you free. It's like, yeah, that's what you want. You want to be free, eh? Really?
I don't know about this argument, right? Like, I mean, okay, one can argue that men don't want to be free, right? Because so many of them choose marriage and, you know, etc. But, like, okay, what womanism did is it allowed women to be quote-unquote free, right? And because women are quote-unquote free, they're free from men, right? And because they're free from men, you know, they don't need men, they want men. They're free to leave at any time. Whereas men are still bound by their traditional rules. So I don't know about this argument. I think it's bullshit.
Really? So you can't predict anything. That's what you're after. It's a vow. And it says, look, I know that you're trouble. Me too.
I mean, I don't know about this either. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Men and women are different, right? And it was the famous philosopher, I'm pretty sure it was Socrates, that said this. He said, women's oaths are etched in water, right? So a girl can promise to you anything, right? But her emotions cycle. So whenever a girl promises you something, just add right now to the end, right? I love you right now. I'll be true to you right now. I'm super attracted to you right now. I'll never leave you right now, etc. So when a man makes a vow, a solemn vow, he's very likely to, you know, follow his word, because a man's word is his honor, right? And without honor, men basically get kicked out of the tribe. And like, yes, a man can survive on his own, but there are certain things that a man can't do on his own, right? Whereas for a woman, hypergamy trumps everything, right? So it doesn't matter what she's vowed to you. If she has access to a better option, if she sees her hypergamous ideal and you're not it, I mean, all that loyalty is out the window, and that's because of the war brides dynamic, right? The girl can just up and leave because in evolutionary history, if women weren't able to do that, then they wouldn't survive. If they were utterly loyal to their you know, husband, and their husband got killed, and she was taken by the other tribe, if she didn't submit to the people that stole her, well, she would be killed and her genes would be erased. So women basically evolved to be able to ditch relationships rather quickly. And so many men, I'm sure a lot of you have experienced it, right? Where a girl, it's almost like she turns the light switch and she's suddenly not attracted to you anymore. That's because of that dynamic there. All right, let's continue.
So we won't leave, no matter what happens.
I mean, again, the laws have a no-fault divorce, so it doesn't matter what the vows are, right? The laws give actively cash and prizes for breaking of marriages. So many women, not all, but many, are incentivized to then take the good deal. Hello and welcome to the Helios blog. My name is Helios, here for another reaction video. If you're new to the channel, liking the content, hit the sub, hit all for notifications. If you'd like to support me further, I do have a Patreon with exclusive content, patreon.com/theheliosblog. Just go there and subscribe to any tier. Any level of support is appreciated. And let's continue here. Again, this is, you can just look at this video. It's called The Real Reason for Marriage by Jordan Peterson. Again, I decided to do a reaction video on him because I don't think I ever have. And he's, you know, the darling of so many men. But some of his advice, or a lot of his advice, is just wrong. It's not based in reality. It's based on old order thinking, but we live in modern times. So the old order thinking doesn't really work so well in modern times.
Well, that's a hell of a vow, but that's why it's a vow, right? That's why you take it in front of a bunch of people. That's why it's supposed to be a sacred act.
Supposed to be.
What's the alternative? What's the alternative?
The alternative is the garbage modern world that we have now. That's the alternative, right? Where, you know, women are incentivized to break up the marriage, and they do it. They do it at an alarming rate, and so men are walking away, right? Like, it's no surprise to anyone that the marriage rate is 6 out of 1,000 in the modern world in 2022. Like, there is no incentive for marriage, for men anyway. For women, there's huge incentives. But until the marriage laws are reformed, I mean, men are gonna stop being married, and there's more. The other poor thing is this. The other poor thing is that it's women that are incentivized to get married and not men, right? And that's all there is to it, really. Okay, let's continue.
Everything is mutable and changeable at any moment.
Right.
Well, go ahead. You live your life like that and see what you're like when you're 50. Jesus, it's dismal. 2 or 3 divorces, your family's fragmented. You've got no continuity of narrative. And it's not good for the kids, not by any stretch of the imagination.
That's right.
And so it's a form of voluntary enslavement, I suppose, but it's also equivalent to the adoption of a responsibility. And there's
no, that's exactly right. So what Jordan here is arguing for is how things should be, right? How they should be. So it should be true that once you've made that vow that the marriage stays together. But what is in 2022 is not, that's not the case, right? The divorce rate is higher than 50%, and women initiate 80% of divorces. So basically, and the reason why is because, well, first of all, there's no fault divorce, so women can get divorced for any reason, it doesn't matter. And the second is the laws favor women through alimony and child support. It incentivizes them to divorce, right? So yes, Jordan's right. It should be like that for the stability of society, for the stability of, you know, your family and your children's lives and etc. But it isn't. And because it isn't, we need to know the truth, right? You can't be telling people to do this because it would theoretically be good. Even though it is better overall for everybody. Until the laws change, it's an unconscionable contract, right? It's a contract that you can't in good conscience decide to enter into because it's so high risk for men, right?
More to it than that. If you can't run away, then you can solve your problems. Because it might be, okay, well, I'm stuck with you. So how about we fix things? Because the alternative is we're going to be in a boxing match for the next 40 years. That's the alternative. So, and you think you're going to fix problems without something like that hanging over your head? There isn't a chance. You'll just avoid them because that's what people do. It's really hard to solve problems, especially in a relationship. We're having a fight and I find out that it's, you know, because you were abused by your uncle when you were 5 or some goddamn thing. You know, it's like, it's very frequent that that sort of thing happens. There's your partner is, you know, manifesting some weird anomalous behavior. You just can't make heads or tails of it. It doesn't seem related to what you're doing at all. They don't want to talk about it. And so as soon as you
right, but Jordan, my solution to this problem would be this would be a behavior that you'd see within the first 6 months of dating, and that would be where I would decide to end the relationship. Like, we're not out here dating girls with like gigantic red flags. It's a tragedy if some sort of terrible event happened in their past and ruined their psychology. But it's not my job to fix that aspect of their psychology. It's their job. And if I don't have a person who's psychologically stable as my wife or as my girlfriend, I don't want to be in such an arrangement, right? So I'm not going to enter into a serious long-term relationship with a girl that has such issues. It's just not smart. It's destructive to me to be in such a position. And I don't think you could recommend that people, like, you know, choose to be with people like that when you have a choice, right? Okay, here. Let's do an article by Rollo Tomassi. This one is called Wait For It. Again, Rollo Tomassi is the godfather of the red pill. He is the writer of The Rational Male. Just look him up on Google. Required reading for every man. So here's Iron Rule of Tomassi number 3. Any woman who makes you wait for bedroom fun, or by her actions implies she's making you wait for bedroom fun, the bedroom fun is never worth the wait. When a woman makes you wait for bedroom fun, you are not her highest priority. Bedroom fun is a spontaneous chemical reaction between two parties, not a process of negotiation. It's bedroom fun first, then relationship, not the other way around. A woman who wants to have bedroom fun with you will find a way to have bedroom fun with you. She'll fly across the country, she'll crawl under barbed wire, she'll climb in through your second-story bedroom window, she'll sleep with you, and wait patiently inside your closet if your wife comes home early from work. Women who want to sleep with you will find a way to do it. The girl who tells you she needs to be comfortable and wants the relationship first is the same girl who had bedroom fun with the hot guy at the foam cannon party in Cancun on spring break just half an hour after meeting him. If a girl is that into you, she'll have bedroom fun with you regardless of her ASD or having her friends in the room videotaping it at a frat party. All women can be promiscuous. You just have to be the right guy to bring it out in them. And this happens before you go back to a place. If you have to plead your case cuddling and spooning on the bed or getting the occasional peck on the cheek at the end of the night, you need to go back to square one and start fresh. I'm probably going to ruffle a few PUA feathers here, but I've never been a proponent of breaking down last-minute resistance with a woman. I actually agree entirely. Maybe it's a result of experiences in my rockstar 20s, but at some point I came to the conclusion that bedroom fun with a woman who's turned on by me is always far better than one where I had to sell her on the idea of bedroom fun with me before the act. Now, don't take this to the binary extreme and assume I mean that only good bedroom fun you'll have is with a first night lay with some girl that can't keep her legs closed. What I mean is that if you're still trying to figure out what the magic words are to convince some girl that she ought to sleep with you after 3 dates or longer, you're in a desire negotiation hearings with a counselor. You're wasting your time and limiting your opportunity with better prospective women than being, by spending time with this girl who's less than 100% into the idea of being with you. The bedroom fun will never be worth the wait, and you should just go on to better alternatives. Okay, so that's Rollo Tomassi. Let's go back to what Jordan here has to say.
Bring it up, they get mad. And then you bring it up again, they even get madder, and they tell you that you're not going to talk about that or they're going to leave. And so maybe you're really, really persistent because you're kind of a son of a bitch, and then they break down and cry, you know, and then they have this horrible memory that comes flooding forward that's completely, you don't know what to do with it, and then you have...
Again, Jordan, I'm not my girl's psychotherapist, right? Like, I don't want to have that scene. I don't want to have that experience. Because I don't want to deal with a girl who's not psychologically whole, right? It's a terrible tragedy if she has these negative experiences that have ruined her psychology. But I have options. I have more than one girl that is available to me. And as a result, I'm not going to spend my time trying to teach or trying to, coax a girl into being psychologically normal when I could get one who is. So I actually disagree with this argument here. Again, 99% of the problems in relationships can be prevented by partner selection. You have to make sure that the person that you're, seriously considering for a relationship is a person that is actually worth a relationship. If they're not psychologically whole, if they're a total disaster, if they're a mess, you can't be in a long-term relationship with them. They need to sort themselves out first, and it's not going to be with you. It's going to be with a psychological professional or someone along those lines.
You have to sort it out. It's like, you think you're going to do that unless there's a good reason? You have to know, we better sort this out or we're going to be carrying it around for the next 40 years. That maybe is enough motivation so you'll actually try hard to solve a problem. It's a lot easier to say, well, sorry, we're not going there. But then, good, you'll have it every day, every goddamn day for the rest of your life.
Well, no, you won't have it every day for the rest of your life if your partner selection is correct, right? Like, why would I voluntarily enter into a relationship with a person I can't escape that has such issues? That's just it. There's also the expression, you can't turn a 3 or 4 into a housewife, right? Like, again, within the first 6 months of dating, basically all the red flags will come out. You'll be able to know what kind of girl she is. And at that point, you can make your judgment. You can make your decision. Is she the kind of girl that's worthy of a long-term relationship? Or is she, like, not? And if she's not, there's no reason for you to stay. Recreational use only. All right, let's continue.
There's some additional problems with divorce that people don't really grasp when they're young. Like, the idea that you can be divorced once you have children, that's kind of a stupid idea. Because you can't.
Exactly. That's right. You're tied to your children, which means that you're tied to the first person you're with. Which means that anyone that you have children with is automatically a priority in your life that's greater than any new person you might be with. And so here's the issue. Here's the issue. The issue is so many, and again, women initiate 80% of divorces, right? So the issue is that basically women mostly are the ones that are creating these broken families, right? Because again, divorce, by the way, if you don't know what the main reason for men divorcing is, because again, women can divorce for any reason and tend to divorce for any reason. Men usually don't, because again, it's 80-20. So 20% of the time that men do get divorced, it's because of, you know, illicit substance abuse or their wife being a criminal. Like, these are the reasons that men use for divorce. For women, it's, we drifted apart. You know, I found a better guy for my hypergamy. I just got bored, you know, like these are like the common reasons that and you know, girls will say the reasons that they'll say in words is we drifted apart, you know, the magic wasn't there, you know, let me use Kim Kardashian's reason. She said, I wanted to be happy 100% of the time. Like, what? It's a disaster, right? But there you go, right? And Jordan's right. You can't escape. You can't escape your wife, your ex-wife, once you've had a child. It's true.
You can find a limited substitute for your initial freedom, but if you have kids and you try to get divorced, the probability that that's going to demolish your life is very, very high.
Very high. First
of all, it's incredibly expensive. So one or both of you is going to come out of that poor.
Right, but there's more. It's funny that Jordan doesn't reference who comes out of divorce poor. The man does. Like, yeah, because of alimony, child support, etc. Yeah, like, this is, again, why we say that you shouldn't be getting married in 2022, because what is the benefit for men? The benefit for men is literally none, and the benefit for women is, like, everything. And you'll also come out poor. That's right. No, he's right. In fact, it's really funny that Jordan is destroying his own argument by what he's saying.
And your market value has declined.
True.
Let's say you're the woman who takes the kids.
That's right.
Your market value has declined radically.
Significantly.
You're going to be poorer.
Right. Like the girl in her 20s who was a 8 or 9 out of 10, which, by the way, if you're lucky enough to marry an 8 or a 9 out of 10, like, you would be an apex man. That same woman, having had 3 children with you and is now 40, her value, like her SMV or whatever, will be like 2 out of 10. She will never again be able to get a man like you. Like, once you've had a child with a girl, her prospects for getting a new man that are of the same value as you are like 0. It's so divorce is pointless, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen, and it doesn't mean it doesn't happen more than half the time, and it doesn't mean that women don't initiate it, because these girls don't know that. They don't know that their value declines. Because again, they're on Instagram, they're on Snapchat, they're on Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, and they just have all these male orbiters that want to sleep with them, and they assume that those guys that want to sleep with them are the guys that want to marry them, and that's not true. It's not true. That a man wants to sleep with you doesn't mean he wants to marry you.
The man, he's just as screwed, because he is now an indentured servant, and there's no escape from it. So it's not so bad if you can negotiate a peaceful separation, and some people can, but lots of times if you have a terrible relationship, it's not like negotiating a peaceful separation is all that easy. But if you're at each other's throats, good luck to you.
Literally, which is again why the marriage rate in the West is 6 out of 1,000 in 2022. No, it's true. The man who divorces or gets divorced, usually gets divorced, like he's not the divorcer, he's the divorcee, right? Like 80% of the time. He becomes an indentured servant, exactly. There is no escape. That's right. And this is why so many men are not getting married in 2022. That's why, because the laws need to change. So Jordan is revealing everything here. He's revealing everything.
I think it's roughly equivalent to having non-fatal cancer. It is not pleasant. It's a 10-year process, 15-year process. It'll cost you $250,000, and it'll tear a big chunk out of your life. And also, it will really disrupt your relationship with your kids. And,
right.
You know, you bring kids into a step-parent family, they do not do as well.
Indeed.
Step-parents are not as good parents as biological parents.
They're not.
The data on that is clear. Now, obviously, there are exceptions, because there are terrible biological parents, and there are wonderful step-parents.
That's true. That just has to do with kin selection theory, right? So the idea is you're much more likely to take care of your kin more than your you know, other people that aren't related to you. So like your sister, your cousin, your you know, mother and father, etc. Kin selection means that they receive better, and obviously children they receive better treatment than any random person. And a step parent is a random person, biologically speaking. So, and not to mention the statistics on a word from step parents, and you know, maltreatment and arguments and ignoring and other such terrible things that happen.
But if you look in aggregate, it's not that easy to care for children.
No.
You need everything you can binding you to them. And if they're someone else's children, mostly they get in the way of the person that you love.
Indeed.
Well, if let's say you have a child, I'll be right out. Let's say you have a child and I want to go out with you. Every second you spend with that child is the second you don't spend with me.
Exactly, which is why, again, we don't recommend that you marry, or sorry, date women that have children, right? It's also why women that have children, why their value is lower, right? And there's more. They also have issues with the baby daddy, right? Like almost always, because again, you can't escape. That person will be involved in their child's life, and then you have to deal with the consequences. It's horrible. All right. I hope you enjoyed that. Let's just go to our FDS, sorry, not FDS, relationship advice post on Reddit, and then we'll end the video. So, how can I, the cheater, help my partner deal? I, 24 female, just told my partner, that's a red flag by the way, 31 male, that I cheated on him last week. I mean, okay. So, there's 2 red flags in the title already, okay? If a girl calls a guy her partner, she's a womanist. She's a leftist. She's not, she's brainwashed, right? Because it's not partner. It's boyfriend. It's husband. It's not partner. It's not a business arrangement. You don't call them a partner. Okay, and then obviously the other red flag is that she cheated on him, right? So we've been together for over 8 years and are engaged. Disaster. It was online bedroom fun with a stranger. I tried to avoid any excuses or justifications when telling him just what happened, that I was really sorry, that it was something completely selfish, that I didn't take into consideration his feelings, that I didn't think of anything. He asked little to no questions. He laid there not facing me for 2 minutes, then got up and went to work in the backyard. I tried approaching him and just said, "Can we talk?" But he said no. He's passed by me a couple of times looking for things and has seen me crying, but I haven't said anything more. I have no idea what to do. I'm trying to think of what he would want me to do right now, but I'm so shook and overwhelmed that I'm afraid what I do next is just going to make things worse. I'm going tonight to house sit for a week, so whatever I do or don't do is in a limited window of time right now. Also, please bear in mind that our whole lives are entangled together, from work to house to pets to finances, everything. Any help or advice is welcomed. So, Rolo Tomasi, don't cohabitate with a girl that you don't plan on marrying within 6 months. Over 8 years. So here's what the girl does. She's like, I have you. Everything is intertwined. We're living together. You won't leave me. Therefore, I can do what I want. And so she does. And guess what? You can't get away. There it is. And if they were married, it's even worse. Again, it's no surprise to anyone why in 2022 guys aren't getting married. They're not getting married because it's not that every girl will do this. It's that any girl can. There it is. Again, these aren't hard to find. This was posted 2 hours ago. All right, here's a top comment with 1.3k upvotes. Hold on. You're only 16, a minor, and he's 23, full-blown adult when you guys started dating? Okay. I mean, I can't see there being much to do aside from wait and see what he says. However, over 8 years and you're 24, so you were 16 and 23 when you got together? Yeah, and then everybody is blaming the guy because, you know, the guy was being bad for dating this girl. Again, guys, like, my guess is that the ages aren't real and it's just made up, you know, like the story. But the archetypes of the situation that happened in the story, well, that's something else. Alright, we're going to end the video there. Again, if you're new to the channel, liking the content, hit the sub, hit all for notifications. If you'd like to support me further, I do have a Patreon with exclusive content, patreon.com/theheliosblog. Just go there and subscribe to any tier. Any level of support is appreciated. Thank you so much for listening, guys, especially if you took the time out of your busy day to listen to the end of the video. I really do appreciate it. What more can I say? You guys are wonderful, and I will see you next time.